Hi everybody, this is Marr here and I hope you're doing well today. And today I thought it would be really fun to showcase my Thomas and Friends wood collection and just showcase what engines I have and destinations and whatnot. For those who don't know, back in September of last year, I started collecting Thomas and Friends wood items because it was mostly for this ideal series that I make called Thomas Meeple Railway. I grew up originally with the Thomas Wooden Railway, which I still prefer by a long shot, but after making the first episode of Meeple Railway, I started getting more and more, and I've gotten I don't have all the engines and destinations yet, but I have a pretty good collection, and with the fact that I'm still going strong and want to produce more of the Thomas Meeple Railway, I figured go ahead and showcase my collection that I have as of July 14th of 2021. Although before I do start showcasing the engines, I think I showed a little behind the scenes of how I filmed the Meeple Railway, in case for those who are just curious how I film. I film up in my bedroom, in my two-bedroom or two-story apartment, and yeah, the table's just like a regular picnic table, and I do plan on getting a larger mat of grass because it's a short, and it served me well, but I would like to get more coverage of the table so I don't have just a limited space. And I got some lighting equipment over here. I don't want to show the bulbs because I don't want to blind my eyes. And yeah, over here is a bit of a mess because I got some stuff here with all my trees and the angry orchard trees, I guess you could say. And then over here, this is where I have all my stuff, tape to and string to pull the engines. And yeah, again, this isn't exactly the most organized, but here's all my track, figurines and whatnot, and all the engines are sort of, in here. I got tank engines and small engines up here and tender engines here. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much my little setup. Hopefully later this year when me and my brother move to a proper townhouse, I'll have a functioning area where it'll be more organized. But this works fine for the most part. But you're not here to hear me talk about how I make silly videos. You want to see my collection, so just go ahead and get that started. We'll first begin with all of my engines that I own. We'll start from over here. We have Thomas again, Chinese Thomas because he has little paint decorations of a Chinese festival, Edward, Henry, Gordon, James, Percy, Toby, Diesel, Diesel 10, Harvey, Emily, Spencer, Victor, Ryan. Okay, technically Ryan's a road vehicle, but he's mostly seen on the rail, so I'm just gonna count him as an engine. The rest are Ryan, Ashima, Nia, Rebecca, and Kenji. So yeah, with all these different engines, there's some that look pretty good and some that are kind of awkward to look at, especially because in my opinion, with them fully painted, they don't look that bad. I mean, in my opinion, if you showed me a wood Percy model and compared it with the original Wooden Railway Percy, I would say the Wooden Railway is much better because obviously it has more look-likes to the character. In fact, there's many times when I'm filming an episode, I'll put Henry out, when I'm filming an episode, I noticed that there's so many weird marks on the engine, on the side of Henry, there's weird scratches on him, and that's how you have to when I got him out of packaging. And also sometimes too, you'll notice on the smoke box there might be a little bit of plastic that's that wasn't fully smooth or something. And I guess it's because since these are technically cheaper to make compared to the engines from the Wooden Railway, but that's something that I always notice when I look at them and when I go back to filming and all that. It's kind of a nuisance to see that's not say, well, get a Wooden Railway engine out to see how with Oliver is how it's all smooth, there's no scratches and dents. Well, okay, this one's used obviously because the scratches of paint, but when you get a Wooden Railway engine out of its packaging, it's a fully completed smooth model engine that has no scratches, no paint marks, that is made with passion. And, you know, with some of these wooden engines, some of them you're great out of the box, and some have little small dents that you will see only if you like really look closely. So it's sort of weird to see that, but I do like some of the wood engines. Like, I think in terms of my least favorite to look at, like, to see Gordon so small in comparison, like, he's about the same size as Percy, and, you know, that's just kind of weird to look at, in all honesty. I mean, like, they captured the personality of Gordon, but it's just seeing Gordon so shrunk that it's kind of hard to call him like a big engine. In fact, since he's like the normal size of like James and Edward, which are a little bit smaller compared to Gordon and Henry. Now, you know, it's just kind of weird. Although in terms of like my favorite looking engines, there's a lot of some actually do look good. Like in my personal opinion, out of the original Railway series characters, Edward looks pretty darn amazing. Like, I mean, aside from side proportion, like, I think they captured the essence of Edward. Like, he's probably the best looking wood model. Well, aside from, like, if they got him a dome, then he would have been perfect. And honestly, he's one of my favorite models. And yes, he will be speaking in Meeple Railway soon. I always mostly used him as a cameo, because I haven't thought of a story yet to have him a full speaking role as of yet. So Ed was, like, in my opinion, one of the best Railway series characters that look best in wood form, in my opinion. And then there's like Toby. Toby's good, but the cowcatcher, it's a skirt. It's like Toby has like an anime skirt or something that's just overflowing, so he looks kind of chunky, I guess. And then, like, all these other models this way you're good too. Actually, speaking of, this one model that I didn't buy, this was actually given to me by my good friend, the Milan Tuner, who you might know for making the Railways of Crotunia. There was a set, a Chuggington set, that he couldn't get shipped to Canada, and he asked me if I could ship it to him, which I do that time to time with some of my online friends. And, like, if I gave him that Chuggington set, he'll ship me a random wood model, and I didn't have Harvey, so, in fact, I think I credit him in episode 6 for providing me with the Harvey wood model, and I'm really thankful, man, if you're watching this, because, you know, Harvey looks really good. Like, in fact, I think, and I think some people might agree with me, that Harvey, compared to the wooden railway models that were released, actually looks better. I mean, like, there is, like, a small little thing with, like, his crane that, having him like this, it just, I don't know, for me, I never really liked to see Harvey having his hook in front of him. I've always one of those weird people that prefer Harvey looking like this, because having that hook, his crane arm in front of him, I'm worried about him hooking his eye up or something. And yeah, so Harvey, in my opinion, is probably, I mean, Edward's the best Railway series character in wood form, but in terms of television series exclusive characters, Harvey's like, okay, second, because there's actually another engine that looks really good in wood form, and that's Kenji. And what's interesting about Kenji, for those who don't know, about a week or two ago, back in June, they officially discontinued the wood range. Not really surprised. I wasn't really surprised by it, but at the same time, it's like, there was a lot going wrong with the wood range that could have been prevented, but I'll get to that eventually. And Kenji is like the last new engine. I think there's one other new item that was released, but it was a Day Out with Thomas exclusive, I believe. But in terms of characters that were introduced in range, Kenji is the last one. And for a long while, I was trying to find Kenji, but I couldn't find him to buy. In fact, what's interesting, and I just discovered this a while ago, Kenji is actually a Japan exclusive. So if you're trying to find a Kenji at a store that sells wood engines like Barnes & Noble, you won't find Kenji in the US. He's Japan exclusive. And so I will admit I did pay a bit more. It was more fair buying, but I'm really glad I got Kenji because he's like the best. Okay, let me try to, I know I'm going all over the place and I apologize, but in terms of the best wooden railway character tended to, or best railway series character tended to wooden, Edward wins. Best Model Series era character that was turned wood is Harvey, and best CGI character that's turned into wood is Kenji. And in fact, some people probably say Kenji's the best one because he has a lot of great detail. Like, he has like these little, I forgot what they call them, I think polyphons that, you know, hook up to run because he's an electric diesel. And, you know, like, seeing the back is fully detailed. That's something that never happens to wood engine, is that they have back details on them. So you see, like, doors. I know some people ask why he didn't have, like, for example, like Buddy the Bus and any Clarabelle. He didn't have, like, a little slot to put a passenger in. And I think, in my opinion, it will make him a bit chunky with that. Like, if I got, hold on, I'm gonna give an example here. With, like, yes, pretend this coach is, you know, one of his cars. It would definitely look off-putting. I think it would make the model look sort of unproportioned. So I think it was a wise decision they did this way. I think that just looks better in my opinion. So, but overall, there's a lot of other good wood models that I actually like. Like, obviously, my least favorite is like Gordon and Henry. Like, they yuck the part of the characters, but they're very short. And it's sort of what I saw. Same with like Spencer, of how he's supposed to be this grand express engine, but he's so tiny. He's a chibi, and his face doesn't help much because he looks derpy there. So, but other than that, there's actually some good wood models. There's actually some I still need to get. Like, I know I'm missing a Hero, Caitlin. Well, I mentioned a couple. I'm missing a few, but I think I got a pretty good selection of the regular engines. But let's not focus on the engines now. Let's go ahead and move over to rolling stock, road vehicles, and the unpainted engines that I do have. Oh boy. And here is my rolling stock, road vehicles, and the unpainted engines. So I guess the 2018 engines of the Thomas Wood, I guess you could say. Here's the rolling stock. This is Annie, Clarabelle, Scruffy, the dragon card that came with the Chinese Thomas, and if you, well, that didn't work out well. Like, if you fold out, it looks like, you know, people are parading on a Chinese dragon paper mache float, so that's kind of cool. Then you have an express coach that came with Manifestation, Buddy, Hail the Helicopter, Winston, and I am aware Winston is a rail vehicle, but he's a car, so I'm gonna just put him there not to get confused or anything. Then we got Butch. Oh wait, got the magnet there. Ace. Topham Haas car that is crashed in a pile of hay. And then we have the unpainted versions of Thomas, Percy, James, Buddy, and Diesel. And I'm not like actively looking for the unpainted engines. I don't really think I would ever get all the original unpainted engines, but like Thomas and Buddy here, they were part of the figure 8 race set, and it was like $30. It's like, okay, I'll get that. And then Percy, James, and Diesel, someone was selling all three of them for like $30 on eBay, and I just figured, you know, that's like a good deal in my opinion. And I'll get back to the road vehicles and passenger cars in just a bit, but in my opinion, like, if this never happened, like, if they just released them fully painted, and not released them, like, you know, half painted all over, I think Thomas would not got the criticism and hate that it deserved. Like, I mean, I know some people will still probably gripe at the wood range for, like, cutting the engine's length in half and boilers and such, but if they just released the engines fully painted, none of the criticism and hate would have ever happened. Because, like, really, how can anyone, like, even if you're the marketing director of a toy line, how can you look at these and, like, yeah, that's good, and Diesel's, like, the worst one in my opinion, because it's just, like, even if you went far away from them, you wouldn't even tell who these engines were, because it just makes them look, I don't know, I think there's already been plenty of people that have ranted about the whole unpainted engines, but again, these are like the reason why the wood range got so much criticism, and, well, I don't know, I think it still would have got some negative feedback, because Thomas Wood Railway is a beloved range, and I personally think it's one of the greatest Thomas ranges of all time, the original Thomas Meeple Railway. So there would have been some criticism, but just having the engines halfly unpainted, that was a huge strike against it when it launched, and while it got redeemed, it was definitely too late in my opinion. But okay, enough about talking about that a lot there. Go, shoot. Let's go to the road vehicles. All of them I think are good. I do like Butch the best in my opinion, but then again, Butch is actually one of my favorites road vehicles. I know he doesn't get a whole lot of screen time or lines, but I enjoy voicing him. The others are fine. Birdie's definitely the odd one out. And I know my friend NBC Mekachu mentioned this plenty of times, like if they just had like a little block that you could put in to get Birdie completely full. Because I think the ideal of getting a little person figurine go in a vehicle is creative. I think it's more intuitive. But they should have done something better to not make Buddy look so empty. You know, have like a little block that you could put in, but I think the reason they didn't do that is because kids might lose that easily, and to be fair, I can understand that if that's the reason, but yeah, Buddy's probably like the worst wood model, just because he looks so weird. Like, I mean, they got the paint and face right, but again, much like with how Gordon and Henry and Spencer are shrunk, it just looks odd, to say the least. And then when it comes to the rolling stock, I think we can all agree that we need to have more rolling stock. Like, we need more freight cars, more coaches, because having one coach for Gordon just will not fit. It will not suit his thing. He will probably say it's disgraceful, but I do like the idea of putting little people like inside the coach, because it just makes it look like a more interactive playset, so that's fine. The weirdest one, however, out of the whole rolling stock I have is just Scruffy, because he's entirely made out of plastic. Like, aside from that little dynamite piece, he's entirely made out of plastic. Like the chassis, everything about it's just plastic. And you could say, oh, blame Thomas Wood for that, but actually, I may be wrong about this, but I remember seeing a double pack that has Scruffy and a red troublesome truck bundle in the original Wooden Railway, and Scruffy I think was fully plastic in that too. I may be mistaken, but yeah, I mean the reason why he's plastic is because if you press this button, the little dynamite flies out, and Scruffy's definitely the oddest one because, like, I don't even know if there's any kids out there that even know who Scruffy is. Like, he only appeared once in season 4. He appeared only one story in the original Railway Series books, and I just don't think kids would know who he is, and it's just a random choice. I mean, I'm fine with having Scruffy in because, well, for me, I grew up with Thomas, and the story is very iconic, and the crash with Oliver tearing Scruffy apart is very dramatic, I have to say. It's like, I'm coming apart, and you just see him tear up. It's like, holy crap. But don't know why they got Scruffy to be dynamite. I mean, who knows? Maybe I can make a Thomas Meeple Railway episode where Crazy Harry teams up with Scruffy. No, that seems forced. This section is going to be devoted to the accessories I've gotten from, like, the destinations and sets that I have, as well as the figurines I own. And oh, one of them's sorry, Mr. Foreman, are you that scared of Harvey that you just laid unconscious? I'm not sure, but here's all the accessory pieces. So we have the Sodor Search and Rescue center set, or a sign, Thomas's branch line, which also has like a clock on the back. Actually, wouldn't it be funny if you're watching this and that's the exact time you're watching the video? That would be funny. Cow crossing sign, stack of hay, NAFTA station clock. We also have 2 benches, one for NAFTA and one that was part of the Around the Park set. We also have a cow, aka Mr. Milkyton. The mare noises! Thank you for that, Mick. Couples of top hats. 2 of them are the same. One is covered in hay, and the other has this weird yellow glasses. He came with Ace, which I can never imagine him riding Ace. I just couldn't. The baker, school teacher. I believe the dark blue one is the conductor for NAFTA station, and the light blue one is one of Birdie's drivers. Yeah, that's it. That's right. He's like Birdie's driver there. Another workman who came with tip machines. Another woman, and a foreman. I think she's supposed to be. I think I got her because she came with Annie and Clarabelle, I believe. I can't remember, but I will say one thing. Like, this is one of the things I do like about the Thomas Wood is these figurines. Like, I mean, obviously they're not like the wood stands like in the original Wooden Railway. They're literally just plastic ones. In fact, a lot of them have like the exact same pose with the arms crossed. You also see like a few that way that have like the hands on their hips and all, but I really do like him because it gives that sense you have a lot more interactivity with like, you know, the toys. Like, you could put one of them in a coach, in the car, like in Winston. You can also like have them like walk around like talking to an engine. It's like, how dare you, or like do a little tap dance or something like. And these, I think, is like one of the highlights of Wood that I think we can agree is actually fun to just see more interactivity with, like, you know, the Thomas Wood engines. I don't know if everyone agrees with me on that, and that's fine. That's just my opinion. So yeah, I do like the figurines and the accessories. While definitely not a lot compared to like in the original Thomas Wood Railway, because in the Thomas Wood Railway you had like tree stands, you have bushes, more signs like a stop and no crossing sign, like more stuff in it. And you know, like, I'm not saying you should wholly flood a set with accessory pieces, but it definitely adds a lot more life into a set. And I will admit, like, one of the first Thomas Wood sets that I got was the Around the Park set, which was literally just 6 curved pieces, a bench, Sir Top Hat, and Thomas. Like, that's it. There wasn't like no tree pieces. You didn't even have like a coach that Thomas can take Sir Top Hat around a circle. And that's just laziness in my opinion. And these are all of my tracks pieces that I own. And there is some good and bad with the track, or the new track with Thomas Wood that I have. Like, I think I mentioned in one of my first vlogs that I did about Thomas Wood was that how, like, if you connect, like, I'm gonna use this here, like, it's very wobbly. It doesn't feel like a firm connection like the original Thomas Wood Railway track. And like, I'm not against them trying something different, like making a new track design. Like, I give them props for creativity, but it just, I guess it just doesn't feel firm. Like, plus also with how there's a lot of empty space with the track, like how there's some gaps in between. It just doesn't feel complete or solid. But it's alright. Though, one thing that is a bit of a nuisance is, like, you can see how many curved pieces I have, and you look at how many straights I have. That's just sad. Like, these straights here, I've only got these straights from one that was, that had like a bunch of curves and switch points. It was like a expansion pack. I'm talking like it's a video game, but well, I mean, it was an expansion set of different tracks, and then it had like one that came with a cow figure with cow crossing marks on it. But even though I got some track, like, compared to the amount of curves, I wish they had more straight pieces included. Like, I mean, curves are important, obviously, but it would be nice to get some more straight pieces, because I think too many railway sets include way more curves than they do straight pieces, and I wish that wasn't the case. I'm not sure if it's just Thomas Wood. I'm pretty sure, like, the motorized set has a lot of curved pieces and little straights. I may be wrong, because I haven't really looked at the Trackmaster or the revamped motorized set, whatever they're calling it. They have so many name changes, it's driving me crazy. And here's like some different oddballs. Like, you got the crossing, which I did a pretty fun shot in the third episode of like Thomas crashing through the gates, like, and I really liked that shot. And it's fully plastic, like there's no wood at all. Then you have the drawbridge, well, tiny one, that came with one piece of wood that I think is, yeah, it's like stapled to it. Again, it's just plastic. And I guess that is one thing I do have a flaw with Thomas Wood. Like, despite it being called Thomas Wood, it definitely heavily relied on a lot of plastic. And it's like, if you guys just want to use plastic because it's cheaper, why not just change it all to plastic? I mean, I know some people say that you're taking away the Thomas Wood name, but if they're wanting to use more plastic, so just, just turn everything plastic or something. I'm not sure, but the switch points, I like them. I got 4 of them, and they make a nice little clicking noise. That's satisfying, but for filming, like when I'm pulling an engine with the string, these things are a bit of a nuisance. Like if it's straight, then it's fine, but yeah, I think I made a little rant about it in episode 7, because these things, when filming and you're pulling an engine with a string, not cooperative. And then the oddest ones are these here. Like you got these, which I guess are supposed to be like the buffers, but little ramps, and I just don't know. Like these are just so weird. I haven't really used them at all in my filming. Well, actually no, I did use one in episode 8, but you can't really see it that much. And then these doodads are like connection adapters for like if you have Brio or wooden railway track and you want to connect it with Thomas Wood. This is how you connect them. They got both the female and male or pieces, you know what it is. And like I'm glad they include like a lot of them in almost every set, but when you have like a lot, then it's kind of redundant to really have these. In fact, I actually had more, but I decided I just threw them away because I think these are good enough if I ever want to just use Thomas Wooden Railway or Brio track in my series or something. So yeah, the Thomas track is definitely the oddball thing, but finally we should go ahead and talk about the destinations that I have. And here we got part of the destinations. I got 2 more, but I'm going to save them for last. In fact, you could probably see one on that side of the screen. You don't see it. You don't see that destination. Anyway, here's some of the ones. Like the first destination I got was the Crosby bus stop. Yes, I know it's supposed to be Crosby Station, but I'm just going to call it bus stop because it kind of looks like one. And it's canon in my series, so I'm calling it a Crosby bus stop. It came with the figure 8 set. It also came with the crossing and the drawbridge. I forgot to mention that last time, but yeah, it's decent, but I can't really. It's hard for me to really defend it because while it's good for a parody of like joking that it's a bus stop, not a station. Like seriously, look at the plastic used. The only wood is just the pillars. Like that's it. Everything else is plastic, and it's really an odd destination. But even weirder is the NAFTA station. Like obviously there's a platform, and what's supposed to be the bakery. But again, the only wood is the pillars, and if you were to tell someone, like say to tell them that this is NAFTA station, they will be in confusion because you got like, NAFTA station is supposed to be grand and epic. It's supposed to signify the main station in all of Sodor, and then you got this. Like, there's no comparison. And yeah, I kind of wish that there was like 2 tracks here. Like obviously I used some of the straight pieces for here in my series, but or something like that. I kind of whiffed on it a lot, much to Gordon's dismay in episode 6. So, but it is what it is. I actually have thought about like might get a second NAFTA station, but repaint it to become like say one of the other stations like Wellsworth, Vickerstown. Well, Vickerstown, I actually want to get the actual station that Wooden Railway released, even though it's very expensive. So you can reuse this to anything you want. You can probably easily take this thing out, spray painted, put a new name, and it'll be a completely different station. I don't know. I might do that. But we're not sure. But here's a destination that I actually do like. Aside from the weird orange coloring, I don't know why they do that. But Cranky here, he actually looks nice. Am I gonna say he's better than the Thomas Wooden Railway Cranky models? That's up for debate. I actually like the original Cranky that was released back in '99, I believe. But Cranky's not bad. He's good. He's sort of balanced with having wood and plastic. Like this is wood, plastic. The head is wood, and the crane is plastic. Like I think this is one of the more better examples of using plastic less and making it even throughout for both wood and plastic. And the head is actually pretty good too. Would I like to see Cranky as, you know, cranky and not happy, lovey-dovey Cranky? I'm not sure, but, you know, and, oh, I didn't even realize there's like a little cat. A blue cat right there. It's kind of hard to see because of the lighting, but, yeah, there's like a blue cat underneath him. Why, I have no idea. Along with the set, it came with 4 different cargo things. No freight car, unfortunately, but we do get Bush Road. I know I forgot to include him in my road vehicles, but I figured just put him with Cranky since he was bundled with it. And the less I say more about him, the better, but I do want to put Bush Road more in my series, and my brother is going to be voicing him. So I'm excited about that. And then just for crap or giggles, I decided to put Scruff on here. It's like, help! I'm being hanging on! Oh, actually, no, better yet, like, Bush just like, hey, Scruff, what are you doing up there? Oh, you know, just hanging around, like, I just put Scruff in my series because I love voicing him, and I just think it'd be fun to keep it. In fact, actually, the magnet for Crank is pretty strong. In fact, I'm gonna do something real quick. Okay, so I got 3 random engines, and I want to see how durable that magnet is. Like it can hold 1 engine, but can it hold 2? Whoa, it can hold 2. I might need to. Can it hold 3? Well, you know what? I'm gonna put it on a tripod real quick, and we'll find out. Okay, so I'm gonna lift Cranky up, and every time I add that engine, we'll see how long he can hold. Like, okay, he can hold that. He can hold diesel 10. That's 5 engines. 5 engines. 5 engines! That's the max! Okay, that was actually kind of fun to see him holding 5 random engines. That's, I don't know, I just find it kind of amusing there. It used to be all fun and games when I did this, but now I'm going to go into my angry ranting mode. Actually, I don't like to get angry, and I don't even like to do the whole ranting thing. But I am going to talk about one aspect about the Thomas Wood ad I don't like. Or at least my least favorite piece of destination. That's this. This is the Sodor Bridge. I was thinking Sodor Bay Bridge, but that's Thomas Wooden Railway, so I'm getting so fixed up about that. But this is like my least favorite destination. Like, okay, in terms of like functionality, because as a bridge, it looks fine, you know, it's not awful. Like, they're all granite bridges, but it's a decent looking bridge. But my main gripe is, like, you know how I mentioned about the connection pieces with the straight tracks of how they're loose? This one is worse. And technically, I know Extreme Trains, who's a really awesome YouTuber, he talked about this a lot, and I agree with him 100%, because it's like, it's one of those things that if you have it in front of you, you have a better idea, and, well, just look at the connecting pieces here. Like, look at that gap. I mean, this is, well, actually, well, that's pretty loose too, but, like, you can kind of get away with that, even though it's only hanging by a thread there. But this here, like, you know, that's literally the connection. Like, I'm not even, like, that is the most you can connect with the bridge. It's just that, and it comes off so loosely there. Like, that is just, like, that is the worst connection I've ever seen, ever. Like, I don't know how that got away. Like, they should have, like, made it was fully connected. And there's no thing, like, in terms of the design, or, like, this look of it, it's good, but that connection right there is a joke. And anyone who has bought this bridge can probably agree with me. Like, that is just very, very poor design there. And how that got passed through production, I have no clue. Okay, so even though I went through my least favorite destination, I can show you my personal favorite destination in the Thomas Wood range, Tiffman Sheds. And this is one that I've been wanting to get for quite a while, and I'm really happy to purchase this because this is an amazing representation of Tiffman Sheds. I mean, I like the original Thomas Wooden Railway. I'm getting tongue twisted. I like the original Thomas Wooden Railway versions of Thomas sheds, like all of them, even the Sights and Sounds one, which was kind of cool. But this here, I think it shows it pretty well, and there's some fun additions. Like, obviously the turntable, there's no knob, but you could just turn, and or you can even use the little control tower here to move. And I think it just looks really nice. And there's some fun details, like you see like a little squirrel, and actually the little blue jay. For me, that is more like an indirect reference to Shinytown Station. At least in my head, I know that's not the case, but in my head that's just fun. And then of course, one other thing that's kind of interesting, that with this playset, it's, well, a playset, because granted, I know this is totally not in Thomas sheds, this is something they totally made up, but there's actually a little control room on top of the shed roof, where, actually let me reverse it around real quickly. Let me take the little thing off here because it will probably fall off the table, and I don't want to risk that. So we're gonna put you there, like behind. Like there's good room to put the engines to sleep in the buffs, and a little thing so you can like fix them, like, you know, brush them, clean them, and a little wrench. So it's somewhat similar to the Sights and Sound Thomas sheds that was released back in 2004, 2003. It's the gray one that I know, but there's like a little control area where you can have, like, say, workman sitting. He can also sit like over here to do some paperwork. He also has like a little bed, so it's kind of like if someone was living in the sheds. Like, this might be a little bit dark, but like, I got kicked out of my apartment, but hey, I work on the railway, so I could just live here. And yes, this is totally silly and unrealistic, and for most people they're like, that is not part of Thomas sheds, it's a joke, I don't get it, but I think it's kind of funny. And plus I actually been getting some good ideas regarding this that I can make jokes in, and you know, I think it's decent. You know, again, that's one thing I do like, that with these figurines, and there's a lot of interactive stuff that kids can play with the Thomas wood, and I don't mind it. And there's also some fun details in the back, like you got a little board there that shows some destinations like Far Quarry. And for those who really love the Railway series, there's this little figurine here, or little drawing, of the original Thomas model that the With Andre made for his son back in the day, before the Railway series got really popular and big. He made this little Thomas. In fact, I actually have the Winter Railway Thomas model that I showed in one of my TTTES shorts, and I just think that's a nice little nod. I mean, I know to some people it may not mean much, but the fact they went out of the way to put that in the sheds, it shows they were trying, you know? Like, I mean, I'm not going to say everyone that worked on the Thomas Wood range knew what they were doing, but there was some passion put into this stuff. And actually, even go ahead and build like a little set here, showcasing the madness of Thomas Wood, or something to close things off. So to summarize, that's my entire Thomas Wood collection as of now. I know I still got a lot of stuff to get, but it's something that I really like, and for someone like me who hasn't collected Thomas merchandise in years, like, it's been a while since I've heavily gone collecting. In fact, come to think about it, Thomas and Friends was one of those things that actually got me to collecting, like, aside from, like, you know, collecting trains, but from when I was collecting video games, books, and just, you know, just the whole thing of collecting. I have to give credit to Thomas, because it really was the one that got me to wanting to collect stuff. And it's not really a sin to collect as long as you don't let it take over you. And that probably says a lot about me. It's like, oh yeah, I spent like maybe too much on all this, but it's something that I'm really passionate about. And you know, yes, this range does have its faults. Like, there's a lot of stuff I don't like, but there's also some stuff I do like. And it also has a bit of an interesting history as well. It's not a grand history. It's not like one that people are going to be inspired by, but it's one that I personally think is kind of fascinating. And while I kind of hate to see this range be discontinued, it has some good ideas. It just had a lot going against it, like a lot. Not just from the unfortunate unpainted engine release when it was announced. So, but anyway, that's all I'll do for today, guys. If you guys have any Thomas Wood collections, like if you've been collecting Thomas Wood, what engines do you have? And if you want to make a response video, or at least I hope they do response videos still do on YouTube, I'm not sure, but I would love to see your collection as well. And maybe sometime in the future when I get some more new engines and destinations, I'll probably do something like this again, showcase some new add-ons to my Thomas collection, because this was actually a lot of fun. I really had a good time showcasing, yucking at, and rambling a bit about the engines and track and all that stuff. So for those asking, episode 10 will come out soon. I just got the script completed and sent it to my voice actors, and it'll probably be out probably late this month or early August at best, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. God bless yous, and I will see you all on the next video that I'll make soon. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. God bless yous. Bye bye.